show is not suitable for children, sensitive men, or insecure women. Can you trust somebody that doesn't take care of their kids?
I don't trust no man on earth that does not take care of their children.
What's the biggest red flag in a relationship?
Low effort and not being honest.
Most of the time, you would think that a bad financial mistake would be spending money on clothes or vacation or like spending money on women. My worst financial mistake was buying a home.
Game time. Game time. Appreciate y'all.
Yo.
Mic check. Favorite day of the week.
What's the deal?
Man, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. How you?
I'm great, man. Can't complain. God is good. Blessed and highly favored. Same shit Charlamagne say every time we talk to him.
Black, blessed, and highly favored.
Shout out to Charlamagne. Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Charlamagne. Salute. Okay, we got a lot to talk about today. Blackout, welcome back.
Yes.
To everybody out there all over the world, wherever you are.
Love y'all.
For sure, man. It's a lot to talk about. Halloween is tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're out there doing the Halloween thing, stay safe.
I'll see you with the Halloween Havoc vibe. 2 days. 2 days. Friday.
Oh, Halloween's on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But some of them been dressing up early, so.
That's a fact. Well, it's like a whole week thing. Like, they.
Oh, for sure.
They're going to have Halloween parties all the way through probably Monday. All weekend, it's going to be Halloween parties. I think, is it some Halloween parties? I already seen some Halloween parties that started already.
Icon?
So, Icon, New York?
Halloween Havoc, and I'm a woo.
Shout out to
Damn. Other teacher. Baby.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Yeah, so it's one of these things. It's one of these things, man. We got a lot to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
Earn Your Leisure episode tomorrow, 6:00 Eastern Standard Time. Alkaline Water, brothers that own the Alkaline Water company out of North Carolina. They sponsored VIP night at InvestFest. Dope story. They partnered with an entrepreneur that was already doing water. He owns like 300 acres in North Carolina. Older gentleman, they're younger gentlemen. They partnered with him. They became, they got some equity in the company, and that now they actually just promoting it, kind of rebranded it.
Power partnership.
Yeah, for sure. So shout out to them doing their thing. So we talk about, water, alkaline versus, spring water, glass bottles versus plastic bottles.
Huge difference.
How the whole industry of water, vitally important. So check that out tomorrow, 6:00 Eastern Standard Time on Earn Your Leisure and all podcast outlets. Any announcements, Ian?
Yeah. Also on the waterfront, there are some great water companies out there, but they start repackaging in plastic. Go on to ChatGPT and see what the water quality score is to take care of your health. I won't be able to Teach Jam this week. Kudos to everyone there. But for those of you who are there, I will be giving away 10 scholarships. I got to make it to my guy's wedding. So in lieu of that, 10 of you will be placed into Stock Club as my apology. And hopefully I'll see y'all next year. Amazing Stock Club call. The replay from this past Sunday is posted in Telegram. Our next call will be Sunday at 5 p.m. Central. And let's have an amazing show.
Yes, sir.
Dubai, we on the way.
Dubai, embrace me like an Emirati. Okay. So,
is UAE the new America?
Is UAE the new America?
And Saudi in combination.
In what regards?
Just they took a lot of things out of our 1950s, the land of opportunity playbook, and it looks eerily familiar to what they're doing. Even that new soccer stadium they built on
Saudi. Yeah, I mean it's the land of opportunity right now. I feel like the Middle East, that's where all of the energy as far as like high level investment, entrepreneur, innovative, I think there's the most millionaires that's moving to Dubai. So it's definitely the land of like,
wealth.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. That's where all that energy, all the wealth energy right now is in the Middle East. For sure. So especially Dubai and Saudi Arabia and Qatar, those places. Yeah, that's money. The money on money.
Investigative journalism. Gotta go.
Gotta do it.
Gotta see.
100%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back. So we got a lot to talk about. Man, where do we start? Let's start with let's start with some sports. The Dodgers, they won the other day. That was crazy. I think it was like 19 innings.
Yeah, that's insane, yo.
But this dude Ohani,
one of a kind. I got a question for you. Hot take. Is Ohtani the Michael Jordan of baseball?
Yeah, for sure. I think he's the best that's ever done it. As far as I know it's kind of premature to say that, but
sometimes you can be so great it's not though.
Yeah, I think he's the best that's ever done it. And it's crazy because it's like it's not even real. Like you watching him and he just hits home runs. Like as soon as you pitch, I don't even know why they still pitching to him.
Yeah, do what y'all did to Barry Bonds and throw away over here.
Facts. And then he's doing 8 strikeouts, 7 strikeouts. Like he pitches, it's like Satchel Paige. Like he's pitching, hitting. He's like single-handedly carrying the team at moments. So I never seen anything like it before. I'm not even a baseball fan, but I watch him because it's exciting. So from what I've seen, he's the best there. But I'm a early I have no problem crowning. Like shout out to my man Greg Barnett. I remember when Wembanyama first got drafted, and I told him, I said, "Look, he's gonna be top 5 of all time." And he laughed. He was like, "Yo, top 5."
You said that.
Crazy. So now he like, nah, I'm a believer now. Like that dude, I can see he's gonna be top 5. Wembanyama is gonna be top 5 ever.
If he stays injury free and in that system with his work, shout out to Tim Martin. Just hearing about his work ethic, like them with Kevin Garnett, you went with Hakeem and went to the monastery. They say them just the highlights. Like his work ethic and who he's learning from consistently is one of a kind. I definitely agree.
There's nobody that's ever been able to do what he's doing as far as 7-7, bringing the ball up the court,
handle,
pulling from 40 feet, blocking shots, dunking, going to the lane, reverse layup. Hezzy on the handle.
He almost had a triple-double with 9 blocks.
Yeah, he's top 5. He's top 5.
Crazy.
It might be higher than that when it's all said and done. Yeah, so to me, Ohtani, man, he's the greatest baseball player of all time. Right now, as far as the things that he's already doing and
without Balco.
Yeah.
Imagine if he had to.
Well, they're gonna be testing him, you know that
for sure. Even for him to pitch and then be a designated hitter, and it looked like a video game, yo. It looks like a video game. So
$700 million contract.
Yeah, and he's so good that other little scandal. Be so good, the scandal will go away.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the best ever, in my opinion.
Yep, I agree 1,000%.
All right. So yeah, we got that. Also, before we start to get deep in the woods with our conspiracy theories and the nonsense, definitely have to talk about Jamaica.
Yeah,
they got hit with the hurricane, and then it's moved to Cuba, and then I think it's going to move to Bahamas also. They said I think Haiti might have gotten hit too, but I think Jamaica got hit the hardest,
the worst for sure.
So
I want to ask, outside of saying thoughts and prayers, which thoughts and prayers are needed for our community? What can we do to build a relief fund or get aid directly to the people who need it? Because a lot of times people say thoughts and prayers and they'll go right back to scrolling on IG. But I do want us to be able to give back in some way. Like, what would be the best way to do that?
I don't know. Maybe we can look into it, because obviously there's like the Red Cross and there's different organizations, but a lot of these charities, a lot of the money doesn't even actually go to the actual fund. Like 60-70% of it funds the actual charity. So for every $1 million that they bring in, 700,000. I'm not saying the Red Cross, I'm just saying just in general, that happens a lot. Out of $1,700,000
expenses.
exactly. Facts. So it's like you getting 100,000 for every million that's being donated. So it's kind of difficult to know exactly how to help in these type situations, but maybe, you know, some of our contacts in Jamaica can
let us know. Yeah.
You can let us know as far as like what's the real way to get help to the people on the ground, as opposed to, you know, going through the bureaucracy of trying to, you know, fund the organizations and travel stipends for people that are working there. It's kind of like, no. But yeah, definitely. Jamaica for sure. Got a lot of love for Jamaica. You know, we had a legendary time in Jamaica last time that we went. So
that was a great run. Yep.
Jamaica always showed us love. So definitely we got to find out how to, you know, have some level of relief for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I want to once again give my thoughts and prayers to everyone there, everyone who has family there. Just seeing the videos is devastating. And then these things keep happening. And then, like you said, the organizations who are supposed to give relief don't do a great job. And then we already know politically in the White House how some of that may go. So I just want to make sure that we're doing our part to be able to give to those who really need it in that time of need.
Facts. All right, so let's talk about this sports gambling situation. This is a multifaceted conversation that we'll probably spend some time on. So the first thing is, let's talk about this Drake Aiden Ross lawsuit that's recently popped up. Let's show this clip. Can we show this clip, please?
When Drake is not making music, the rap superstar boasts on social media he's making millions through online gambling.
Gambling online is just, it's a wherever, whenever kind of thing. You know, I've gambled at a restaurant, I've gambled on a plane.
This morning, a new lawsuit accuses the rapper of glamorizing online gambling while misleading fans, some of them teenagers.
Gambling on stake is on low.
Drake has a partnership with the online casino Stake. When he posts about placing big bets, the lawsuit says it's not his money, but house money. So any reported losses are part of a marketing tactic designed to draw attention. The lawsuit was filed by a Missouri man who claims he lost money on Stake because of deceptive practices by Drake, online influencer Aiden Ross, and Stake. The platform markets itself as a social casino that does not offer actual gambling, but the lawsuit says Stake's virtual casino chips, known as gold coins, come with a bonus of Stake cash that can be redeemed for cryptocurrency, making Stake real and highly addictive gambling. Stake is all over Drake's Instagram account.
Moneyline, 600,000.
His 142 million followers can watch him wager enormous sums, creating what the lawsuit calls the Drake effect, boosting Stake's popularity among younger, impressionable audiences who admire his lifestyle. Drake's role as Stake's unofficial mascot is quietly corrosive, the lawsuit says. He's glamorizing the platform to millions of impressionable fans, many of whom treat his wild betting habits like gospel.
The civil complaint here is for violations of Missouri gambling law and other typical civil remedies that may or may not be influenced by how many people have access to it or how Drake goes about advertising the product.
Now, we reached out to all of the defendants named in the lawsuit. None of them returned calls for comment. The lawsuit was filed the same time Drake posted a video showing him with a $1 million balance in his Stake account. So he's pretty serious.
All right, so the clip shows, which I think there's already, something that was already came out about that. But, somebody, I guess, is suing him because they're saying that it was false advertisement pretty much, as far as, he promotes Stake a lot, and he promotes, okay, I won $1 million, I lost 200,000, But, they're saying that that's not really his money, that's money that was, given
the house's money,
to promote the thing. And it's led people to gamble, and then they lost, and then they blaming Drake for losing.
It's a great time to sue. I will say my boy having a rough year. Lost the UMG lawsuit, lost the battle. Shout out to him, TV Gucci. Happy belated birthday, TV Gucci. But not the right time to be in the gambling business. Well, depending on what side you're on. But anytime that a person is paid to advertise gambling services, for the record, you should know that they're not betting with their own money, which is a great lesson in general. Like, in itself, you should not be putting up your own money to gamble if you're going to do that. I'm not telling you to use other people's money, but most people that are getting you into the casino, getting you into DraftKings prospects, stake, they're not using their own capital. Be smart.
So, okay. The gambling thing, I don't want to go too heavy on this because I've already said this 37 different times.
And they get so mad at you every time you say it.
Yeah. It's a lot of but you know, it is what it is. I mean, the numbers support it. But what does this say for as far as influencers that are championing? Because he's not the only one. What does it say about influencers? Like, what's your advice to influencers that's championing these gambling sites?
You need good lawyers. And make sure that your disclaimers are strong on your social media post when you're advertising the product for one of the same reasons. Keep going back to Tech 2 Index. I know what the probability of losing with Apple and Microsoft and Vanguard is, especially if you hold over a 10-year period, 97% win rate. So you got to lawyer up because people are, especially when the economy is getting tighter, there's a lot of economic unrest. Another way people can take money from you, going back to Monday, is through litigation and lawsuits. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. So, and also you have to tell what the real odds of winning if they follow your advice. Now, the other side of it is if you are on a great win streak and you help others make money, as I've done in the stock market, you can make a killing in betting, but be very careful, and you have to have a very strong legal team. Same with crypto and NFTs a couple of years ago. A lot of people was advocating for certain companies and didn't pan out how people would think. You need a good legal team for sure. And just be honest, because you don't want to ruin your reputation over an endorsement back. What do you think?
I agree. I think that I just think that it's one of these things that, yeah, you gotta be careful for sure. You gotta be careful as far as whatever best practices is, as far as, you know, legal document signed or a disclaimer or whatever that is. Because yeah, I mean, you know, you never know once you open that window, but
and don't lie. Don't make it seem like you are on a tremendous win streak. Not saying
I think that's another thing too, right? Like it's deceiving practice. I'm not a lawyer, but for me, I feel like if you're saying, okay, we have a sponsorship by FanDuel, FanDuel sponsored the show. You use promo code X, Y, and Z for 5% off of whatever. Then it's obvious that they're sponsoring. And if you choose to, indulge in that, then you can. Or if you're legitimately saying, hey, look, this is, I made this bet, right? I'm not telling you what to do, but this is the bet that I made.
Yeah.
And you can just say, okay, well, you're just public information. But if you're deceiving the public and you're saying, okay, I made this bet, but somebody actually gave you money and you got paid to tell somebody that you made a bet that you actually didn't make because the money was given to you. Well, that's where I think
it's a gray area.
Yeah, for sure.
Or just say, hey, this company gave me the money to place the bet. The ticket was real, but it wasn't my money invested. There's a teachable moment in that, but to make it seem like it's all upside, he does show losses, but there are some on other platforms that don't talk about the losses. That's not going to go well. It's not going to go well.
No, 100%. Let's play this clip from the Vlad TV guy, but let's only play like a minute because it's a pretty long clip. So let's play like the first minute of this clip, can we?
Bring them to me after the interest stops, and they said, look, how are you going to pay me back? You got a rich uncle? Go rob a bank? I don't care what you do. Bring me my money. You see they're scared. So, all right, I got another way to work this out. Here's how we're going to do it. Okay, you're a quarterback. Okay, you're favored to win by 10 points. The first 3 times you get the ball, you put it in the hands of the other receiver. Put it in the defensive men's hands. You're a running back. You get the ball, you put it on the ground. First 3 times. You let me worry about the rest. You're going to do this until I tell you you're not doing it anymore. That's how I'll get my money back. What are they going to do? They're stuck.
And they always did that. They
had to
shave points in order not to pay back their gambling debt.
They had no choice. Either that, or
Okay.
the threat is we're going to put you in a hospital. And
Right.
I didn't have to say that, but they knew that. Because what I would tell them is straight out, I says, one thing you don't understand, whether you're here, any city in the country, or you're in Vegas, you're going to pay your debt. You're not going to get away with it. You owe a gambling debt you have to pay. And if you don't pay, there's serious consequences. So just work along with us. And that's it. That's all you had to say.
Okay, so alleged mobster was saying that he pretty much was fixing games. Paraphrasing. Professional athletes would gamble, underworld gamble, the mafia was involved, they couldn't pay their debts. He, instead of, going the violent route, they said, look, this is an alternative, throw said game or, cover point spread here and there. And we'll wipe your debt out.
Better than being wiped out yourself. And it's been going on since the beginning. We got to have an honest talk about the NBA. I don't know if you want to do it today, but at some point.
I mean, it goes back to even the movie Blue Chips, right? Where that point shaving. That was 30 years ago. It's nothing new. As far as gambling, this goes back to 1920 World Series scandal. Yep. Like I said, whenever you involve gambling with something, is going to lead to corruption.
And you can see it,
on a certain level. On a certain level, like like when you have gambling, it leads to corruption because it leads to greed. It leads to it's an addiction. It leads to having that adrenaline, dopamine hit, and that's gonna cause situations that's gonna lead people, not everybody, but some people down a very dark path, and things like this happen.
And it starts very small. Talked about it Monday, but it starts with the hanging out, being in the section, y'all at the same place out the country at the same time. If you are not in street or mob business, you should stay out of mob association. So back when BMF was running around and I had friends there, I kept myself from that when they were doing what they're doing. Same in Mexico. Because people can get caught up very quickly and you end up owing, not even knowing that you're owing. But this has been happening since the beginning of time. But the only difference is now the players are being paid so much it's not even worth the risk. But I do find it interesting when Adam Silver first came into the league, one of the first op-eds was that gambling should be legal. First commissioner in history to advocate for gambling.
Well, money talks. So, when they come with the bag, it's one of these things. But, man, it's a lot that goes into it. And I feel like a lot of people are just not fully educated on everything that goes into it until they're too far in.
And I've been told y'all, if these leagues won't go public, there's a reason why. WWF is pre-scripted. It went public with UFC. If y'all think that Vince McMahon is the only commissioner who decided who was going to get title or certain achievements before the season started, you are an idiot. Tim Donaghy, homeboy, is still reffing. If you talk to any player, they'll tell you, hey, this ref, outside of Chris Paul, like that's the most egregious one. But the Chris Paul referee issue, AI had an issue with the ref. It's a few of those refs though. If they play, you can, even if you go to the game, you can. Oh my God, he reffing. You already know what the outcome is going to be. So,
what's your thought for people that say investing is the same thing as gambling?
Just look at facts. If you hold the S&P 500 for any 20-year period, the win rate is 100%. I'm not saying that you should not gamble, but if you are not winning at a high enough win rate, 80 to 90%, and don't have your risk to reward ratios in comparison, they're not the same thing.
Well, that's what so this is my last time talking about this. Because like I said, I mean,
And the only people who push back respectfully on that are people who don't win often in gambling. I never hear that pushback from Vic. Shout out to go Vic here in Houston. He wins at a high rate. It's not because A Man for All Markets, one of my favorite books, Ed Thorpe, he beat Vegas, then went to New York and became in the hedge fund business. The principles are the same, but the outcomes are different depending on how you play the game. I know you get a lot of pushback for it. I know you're going to have your take, but stop complaining. Like, the only people who complain loud are the ones who are not earning a lot.
And the ones that just, have just hard-headed. Like, it's like nobody wants to be told what you're doing is wrong. But sometimes in life, you just got to be honest.
You got to be told.
So it's like, okay, don't trust me. Ask ChatGPT. I just put in ChatGPT. So I said, what's the percentage of people that lose gambling? This is from ChatGPT. A large study of more than 700,000 online gamblers found that 96% of participants lose money from online betting. Only 4% made money. In the sports betting context, one source reports that about 95% of bettors lose money. Only 5% withdrew more money than deposited. And the opposite of that is the S&P historically has been up around 10% a year.
And it doesn't matter what's 20-year period. 2008 crash, 29, any 20-year periods you hold, 100% win rate.
So one scenario, you're almost guaranteed to lose money. One other scenario, you're almost guaranteed to make money. And so for the people that say, well, investing is just like gambling, like I said, I mean, you're arguing with numbers. 96% on one side, 96% on the other side. Hey, you do what you want, but don't say that you wasn't warned.
Yeah.
Because 10 years from now, when you still haven't built any wealth because you spent all your money gambling on FanDuel and parlays, and you have nothing to really show for it. You might have won, then you lost, then you won, then you lost. You can't say that you was not warned. That wasn't the most intelligent way to go about it. But hey, what do I know? But also, let's show this clip. The last thing, let's show this NCAA clip about gambling now being allowed on a college level for college athletes to gamble on sports, on professional sports.
College sports will never be the same after what the NCAA just did. Just as the FBI starts arresting players and coaches for illegal gambling, and if you want to see a video I made on that already, click right here. The NCAA, in its infinite wisdom, decides that now is a great time to let their players and coaches and staff legally gamble on professional sports. Which, if you somehow didn't know this already, college athletes were not allowed to gamble whatsoever. First and foremost, this rule goes into effect next week. Have you ever seen something get passed so quickly? Second of all, this really stops being dumb and starts making a hell of a lot of sense when you ask the right questions. And the right question in this situation is, who the hell benefits from this? It's not the players, it's not the integrity of the game. It's these two little guys right here, DraftKings and FanDuel. This decision reeks of lobbyist money, and these guys are not playing the short game. This rule change isn't just to get a couple college kids betting on the NFL. The prize is creating an entire generation of gambling addicts. If you take a 19-year-old kid with millions of dollars from the NIL and get him hooked on daily gambling, you have a customer for life. And what do you think happens to that addiction when they go pro? You think it just goes away? They carry that addiction into the league, and now guess what? They have an entire network. There's underclassmen on the team that they can talk to. Those underclassmen are talking to him, and each of them are telling their buddies, "Hey, let's not cover the spread on this one. How about it? How about I give you a big bag of cash?" So basically, what the NCAA just did was essentially create a cross-league network where point shaving, inside information, and just straight up cheating becomes inevitable. So this isn't just a rule change. This is the NCAA literally injecting cancer into the league. Which, by the way, the NCAA is like, "Oh yeah, we're going to keep our integrity." Okay. Even though you literally just had 3 athletes get banned for life for gambling on games. I cannot emphasize this enough. This is the worst idea ever. And we're all going to look back on this video in about a year or two when there is a massive NCAA gambling scandal. It's going to happen.
Okay.
There are two wars being fought and have been being fought the last 6 or 7 years. It's the mob version. Can we all agree that the mob businesses are created to create wealth for the mob and not for the people outside of the mob? Gambling, liquor, clubs, music are all mob businesses. That's why I tell you to go look at the origin of a business to know how it's operated and how it was founded, to know the principles it's going to carry through. But corporate, same in prohibition, post-prohibition, wants to find a way to eat into that racket. And I think it's very fascinating, given this scandal in the NBA, how quickly they adjusted to college. What do you think about it?
No, I mean, especially the part that he said, like, you know, you got a young customer, you got a customer for life. And that was the thing, even with the cigarette companies, that was one of their major marketing campaigns when they had Joe Camel and they put cartoon characters, because the idea is that if you can appeal to a young audience, then that's something
for a long period.
And that's all major marketing. If McDonald's, the reason why McDonald's has that bounty house thing that they have, and they have the Ronald McDonald clown and the toys and the Happy Meal, is that they wanted to appeal to a extremely young audience, because your habits are hard to break. That's why it's important to establish good habits when you're young, or for parents to try to force their kids to have good habits, because it's extremely difficult to break habits. So most of the time when you do things as a young person, you're going to continue to do that as an adult.
Those habits die hard. Yep. So
that's why most marketers, they'll rather market to young people than they'll market to adults. Even though young people don't really have money, they'll force their parents to do things, or they'll find ways to. And even if that discretionary income is a lot lower, it's a long game. They know by the time that they become an adult, they have a lifetime addiction to, whether it's fast food, whether it's gambling, whether it's nicotine, whether it's whatever. So a lot of these things was intentionally marketed to young people, and it's going down. So this makes perfect sense as far as the gambling thing. It's like, okay, how young can we get it?
And on top of that, when there's economic unrest, it's the perfect time to launch a derivative to an audience who doesn't believe in the system. The success of Bitcoin is an indictment against the faith of the American population into American banking and the dollar. So the timing, and I've said it too, if they find the equivalent, and they kind of have one, but it's not long term, where they have like the kind of like guaranteed plays, if they find a version of an index for gambling, oh man, it's going to be tough for some of you ETF creators, because the returns are higher. It's a battle even in that old money versus new money. Old mob business being encroached by tech bros that are being weaponized through multiple agencies. There's a lot of wars going on right now, but protect yourself. And shout out to the players in the NBA, NFL. I'm not saying that you guys don't put in work, because you do, especially for those I have a relationship with. But these games have been rigged since the beginning of time. And I miss David Stern. Adam Silver, you have a nice. This can either make or break your career the way you handle this. And I know you've already received counsel, but David Stern would have handled this a lot different, for sure. They set the greatest of all time down for his little shit. And y'all let some of them run rampant. Too much money on the line.
Too much. Speaking of that, Nvidia hit $5 trillion on the market cap.
I don't want to hear nothing from nobody about nothing. Rashad, I'm listening though.
So as far as Nvidia hitting $5 trillion on the market cap, what does this say about like company valuation? Because remember, it took 80 years for the company to hit 1 trillion. And now we have like probably 15 companies over 1 trillion. And now we have a company worth 5 trillion. So how far can Nvidia go And I know you was a big fan of Nvidia early on. What made you see Nvidia early and say, okay, this is a company that is going to have a good long-term trajectory?
Great question, and very simple. Supreme focus on excellence. Like the thing that Jensen and Nvidia had, because at the time, so for the record, clips this up. 2017 called Nvidia. Nvidia is up 7,000% since then, just long-term hold. Yes, put yes in chat. Thank you. But the thing that I love about, and it's the same thing that you see in any great entrepreneur, athlete, entertainer, they are supremely focused on being the best. At the time, AMD had a lead, Intel had a lead. They were the game and chip company, right? But they got better every quarter, every month. So once you see, and also too, it was a superior product. Red Panda, superior product. Stock Club, superior product. InvestFest, superior product. Earn Your Leisure, superior product. It starts with the core of, is the product the best in the world at what it does? So that was it for me. And then once I started buying the chips versus, like I have the AMD Threadripper in one computer, then the Nvidia chip in another. Nvidia is a little bit better. So I think my next target is 295.29 for Nvidia. It should take 14 months, 15 months possibly for us to get there, but they represent 16% of all GDP in the United States of America. And I was telling Stock Club this. I always say invest in the companies that move the GDP, but given the floor that they created, they're representative with this AI movement and chip movement of 32% of GDP in America. Think about that. When everyone was trying to create cute ass apps and recreate other business models, they focused on what the world and our country needed, which was digital infrastructure, because our physical infrastructure is falling apart. We can't lose the digital war to China. And I love that his work ethic and discipline allowed him to stay focused when he could have focused on other ventures. Google had a failed social media product. Apple wanted to design a car to compete with Tesla. Jensen ran his race and said, I want to be the best at chips, and everything else I'm going to leave alone. He signed that one little breast and got back to working. Never made the mistake again. Like I made a mistake Monday. My apologies, my brother. But supreme focus, 2017, 7,000%, probably top 10 and greatest American companies in terms of investment and product development of all time. Like without Nvidia, these last 10 years, we would have been in a recession. And they snatched that lead. It's like when 50 came out. Snatched the lead from Apple. Yes, Apple stock is still doing good, but the government was banking on Apple to do what Nvidia did. It's a good lesson, though. Fill the gap in what's not there. 2020, when we did the show, we filled the gap on giving not just the best investment advice for Black people, the best investment advice in the world. Fill the gap. Y'all were doing interviews and covering entrepreneurs that most people had not heard of that had tremendous impact. You fill the gap. InvestFest, fill the gap. Find your opportunity to fill a gap that you want to see in the world.
So still no signs of slowing down.
It's either Nvidia continues to do incredibly well or America falls apart. And the thing is, Mark Zuckerberg, these are once in a lifetime talent. They are incredibly focused. You don't hear much about Jensen other than the partnership and rollout to GTC. I've never heard of Jensen even at a Knicks game, a Warriors game. I've asked. When we went, it was like a laboratory. It wasn't a bunch of mixy that got a social media hour and fog wide. Nah, working.
He's been traveling a lot though.
For sure. You got to fundraise and do the partnership run. Palantir partnership. All of them are working together to make sure that we don't lose to China. Supreme focus. Same in any athlete. The best athletes that I ever saw play, they just love ball. Even when we met Kyrie in the parking lot, jabs, no ball, like nuts on the putter rim. Love for the game. Michael Jordan, love for the game. Like there are certain talents where they love that thing that they do so much. That's what gives them their edge. Social media, love of the game. You can't duplicate that. There are a lot of CEOs who got comfortable the last 10 years because of quantitative easing, and now they're getting their ass kicked by somebody who kept their eyes on the prize. Got to stay focused. As much as you guys see me do this and you see the team post on social, I never leave this the money maker with them charts on it. Never. So invest in a CEO who does not get distracted by things that don't matter. You can argue Elon, Tim Cook, let the fame get to them. You can see it early in Sam Altman. They let distractions get into the way. I like a CEO who's just supremely like if the CEO of Eli Lilly walked into InvestFest, most people wouldn't know who he was. You saw with Dan Cathy at Chick-fil-A. You never, if recession talks come up, you never hear about a downturn in sales for Chick-fil-A. Why? They find a way to make their product better, bring more joy to people's lives, get that line more efficient, redevelopment, reinvestment into the product. Stay great.
100%. All right, Nvidia. Okay, let's talk about
and for those of y'all who ask what's the next Nvidia, there's no next new. You have to look to the next sector. Because at the time in 2017,
what's the next sector?
Quantum. I told y'all that 3 years ago. Yeah, all y'all copy my shit. So now I'm done talking. Quantum, and it's not IONQ. I'm telling you, it's not them. I like them, like the company. But they aren't allowed to, by the powers that be, for it to be them. Shoot that plane out the sky before they let that shit happen. Allegedly. They will be in the ecosystem for sure. But that winner in Quantum is a company that's often overlooked and who's had a hell of a rebound in AI.
What's that?
We'll wait till next week.
Cliffhanger.
I know y'all hate my cliffhangers, but tune in on Monday to the next show. And maybe at the top of the show, we'll tell you what the top 2 players in Quantum will be.
Tune in to Market Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time next
I know
Monday.
y'all hate it, but I don't care. But tune in next week. Same channel, same time.
Let's talk about politics. Let's show this clip from Gavin Newsom when he was on All the Smoke. Okay, let's show this.
Man, welcome to the show, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. Appreciate it.
We have to understand, these guys aren't fucking around.
I know.
They're not fucking around.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, at the core of the problem with the Democratic Party, it's not about talking about things. You're not here to make a point. You got to make a goddamn difference. We will lose our country if we lose the midterm elections. I've never been this guy. I've always been like, come on, we'll be all right. We're resilient. This is different. This guy's an invasive species, man. This is different. These guys are surgical. And so we have to get our shit together.
All right, shout out to All the Smoke.
For sure.
Stack 5.
Yep. Matt Barnes, solid duo.
The whole team. Okay. So it's obvious what he's doing. He's taking the aggressive approach, the masculine man. I think the Democrat, their whole thing has what they've been labeled as is
some
like, the Republicans have done a good job as far as branding the Democrats as, weak. That's what he said, right? As weak, as a party that's run by, people that are not in the like, people might say like, okay, this person is really far out there
on the fringes,
extremist, right?
Yeah.
They call Mondami like an extreme communist. They call in or a socialist. They're woke. They use the word woke and change the definition of that. And
woke,
so it's like, I was just watching Donald Trump Jr. on CNBC, and he was talking about like, Yeah, rainbow hair teachers in kindergarten. Just so
They got the talking points down for the enemy.
He's coming with the total aggressive Democrat. That's his lane that I think he's going to try to push hard line on as far as his presidential run, because he's definitely going to run for president
and get washed.
You don't think it's going to work?
Yeah, you're going to get washed.
Gavin Newsom? Why?
Double rinse.
Why?
Who? Okay, well, to the first point, to the Democratic point, it's too little, too late.
It's too little, too late for what? It just started. They got 3 years to run a campaign.
All the masculinity thing that you trying to do. Remember when shot the Hammer? I want no smoke because you be body slamming motherfuckers for real. But when Hammer had the image of clean, and then he went with Simon and changed the image, even though the part of that is really him, it looked away. How you are perceived in the beginning usually is going to remain your perception. All this Billy Badass, Big U shit that you're doing as Big G is not going to work. And for the record, you still mishandled the fuck out of that fire situation in California. And the state of the economy is not the best. And the Democrats, y'all undercut each other too much to have a great leader. You did it with who should have won, but then Hillary came because they wanted him. There was some backbiting in this last one. And Gavin, I see the move. I like the PR move, but it's too little, too late. You can't change character mid-stride. This is not WWE. Also, too, in your ecosystem, who's going to be your Peter Thiel? Someone has to finance the person that's selected to go to war with the regime.
Well, they have financing. I mean, they raised $1 billion last presidential cycle.
And got washed. And this is the last part. No one believes that shit y'all saying.
So you
Bernie was probably the last person from the Democratic Party that the people believed.
So who do you think is going to be the next president?
Tune in next week to Blackout. Whoever Peter Thiel picks.
That's JD Vance then. And they already said Trump might run as the vice president.
Which I have asked for years. Why has no one done that?
So you think JD Vance is going to be the next president?
Don't do that to me. Don't do that. But whoever Peter Thiel may not select JD Vance.
So you think it's going to be a Republican? Let's just say that.
I haven't seen a Democrat with balls and who's honest that the people resonate with yet that would beat that regime. And this other part, the Democratic Party is afraid of MAGA. And the other lastly, there's a lot of Democrats who are MAGA that are masquerading as fucking Democrats. There's a lot of y'all who sent that information over to him to beat her last election. Also,
I think what he said most of America agrees with our points. No, they don't.
They don't.
If that was the case, then we wouldn't have Trump as the president 2 times already. Like, I think most of America agrees with Donald Trump. And most of America is MAGA.
Which, if you start at the top, the president is supposed to be the financial parent. There's not a strong democratic financial plan in place. Y'all should have grabbed Saylor when y'all had the chance to and cleaned him up but now he's on that side by force. Anybody who is a financier or oligarch in tech, they have sided with that side by force because you wouldn't embrace them. One of the biggest mistakes that they made post-Obama was the outreach was not to where it was supposed to be. There's a lot of people who were trying to support who were getting turned down, and because that other campaign team opened up their arms, they went and ran over there with him. Now, it was a bunch of misfiring that was done, a bunch of jealousy, a bunch of backbiting. It's above my pay grades for all allegedly. But I don't see a strong The only way a Democrat wins in the next election is if we, and this is saving grace, is if we enter into a correction or economic crash, which is guaranteed they're going to lose at that point.
You think you think that Kamala Harris has a chance
to win the nominee or win the election?
Either or.
I think she has a chance to win the nominee if the forces are behind her. Even so much.
What do you feel about the report that Obama called Nancy Pelosi once she endorsed Kamala, and he said, like, what the F have you done? Because he wanted to have an open race for the Democratic nominee, and he didn't want to just hand it over to her allegedly. That's something that just broke recently.
That's out in the public.
Yeah, it's I think Newsweek, when somebody like a reputable source had posted it.
A mainstream Democratic source, because I don't want to get in trouble for telling.
No, it wasn't like Fox News or anything like that.
Okay. Even to that goes to talk to more about the factions that are fighting inside the Democratic Party. And I think the Democratic Party having all this infight is one of the greatest reasons they haven't been able to have the success they wanted in the past few years. And there's been a turning in sentiment. Like MAGA almost turned New Jersey.
So the Daily Mail, the New York Post, that doesn't count because that's the Independent, Fox News, that doesn't count either.
Fuck it, if the news is out, which we heard similar things, it was a misstep. Because I think even in having a primary, it'll tell you who the people want.
I don't think it was enough time. I don't think it was enough time to have the primary. I think if anything, they should have got rid of Joe Biden earlier on. But by the time they got rid of him,
it was too late.
You got 4 months. It's kind of tough to have a because then you're going to destroy the person by having debates and all that, and then you're going to try to rally around the person. So I think they
made the strongest person survive.
I think they did the right thing. Given the time frame, she was next up, and that would have been very, very bad for the support base as far as to have a black woman first vice president who was next up. He can't run because of cognitive issues, and you don't go with the vice president with 4 months to the election. You open it up to have it. That's not a good look.
Or you can be in a primary, let them get shellacked by him and that movement, and now you can say, "Look where we are. You should have had me in." Sometimes it's better to start the war after everybody got slaughtered. You don't want to be the first one out, guns blazing. Pioneers end up with holes in their back and arrows in their back. Yeah. I want to shoot fish in the barrel.
We'll see. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting, though. But Democratic, y'all got to get y'all affairs in order because it's too much infighting.
Facts.
Y'all lost Zuckerberg.
For now. Yep. I mean, it's where, keep in mind these things move in cycles too. So at some point in time, there'll be a Democrat that's running, that'll be president. Mm-hmm. And when he's president, 90% of the people that's on the MAGA train, as far as the big money side, they're going to come over to the Democrat side.
The name of the game is always to finance both sides. My not worry, but thought is if Peter Thiel keeps those installed in government, there's still some retribution, because the thought is if Trump's leave, you don't have as much to worry about. Peter's the mastermind.
Oh, speaking of the mastermind, can we play this clip of Trump when he pardoned the head of Binance?
The founder of Binance. Can you explain why you chose to pardon him, and did it have anything to do with his involvement in your family's?
Who is that?
The founder of Binance. He has an involvement in your own family's crypto business.
Yes, I believe we're talking about the same person, because I do pardon a lot of people. I don't know. He was recommended by a lot of people. A lot of people say that. Are you talking about the crypto person? A lot of people say that he wasn't guilty of anything. He served 4 months in jail, and they say that he was not guilty of anything. That what he did. Well, you don't know much about crypto. You know nothing about. You know nothing about nothing. You're fake news. But let me just tell you that he was somebody that, as I was told, I don't know him. I don't believe I've ever met him. But I've been told by a lot of support. He had a lot of support. And they said that what he did is not even a crime. It wasn't a crime. That he was persecuted by the Biden administration. And so I gave him a pardon at the request of a lot of very good people.
Okay, so you pardoned the head of Binance and asked the question. It didn't seem that he actually knew who he was or what he actually was in jail for. And then he got pretty defensive, told the reporter that some people thought it was AI. That's how crazy it was. He told the reporter that she knew nothing about nothing and that she was fake news.
Why did they think that was AI when he's been saying those same kind of things forever?
I think people just still in disbelief or just don't want to believe certain things. But
why? He was president before.
So Trump, man, he's giving out a lot of pardons. Has not pardoned Diddy yet. But there's talk of even Sam Altman being pardoned potentially.
For what?
No, not Sam Altman. Sam Bankman.
Oh, Bankman-Fried. I heard that too.
There's reports that Sam Bankman-Fried might be pardoned. Well, so it's a lot going on these days. But what does this say about? Because obviously he might not know him. He might know him. Who knows? But the founder of Binance, they do have ties together through his family's crypto, through his sons. So he has friends in high places. Let's just say that. And there's a lot of people that said like, yeah, he actually what he got convicted of as far as breaking know your customer rules. It was kind of like it was a witch hunt. It wasn't really that serious of a crime. So but that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is whether he knows him, whether he doesn't know him, whether it was a serious crime, whether it wasn't a serious crime. A little disturbing that he couldn't fully articulate why he gave him a pardon.
Or, not to defend him, who the agreement for what he may want to use him for, he may not want the public to know about. It's no different than when you have black hat hackers that end up working for institutions because they can't find a way to keep them from cracking into certain security things. So if I can have him on my team, as everyone loves crypto and banks have adopted crypto, and now he's clearly making the path for himself to never have to go to jail and then put so many people in power, they protect him when he's out of office. Let me bring him in as a mastermind who knows the space pretty well and get all the info I need out of him. And if I pardon him, he won't never betray me. Same with Sam Bankman-Fried. Like we're watching a Mission Impossible movie in real time, happen right in front of our eyes.
And it just speaks to the crypto as far as this administration has been the most pro-crypto administration ever. And that's even another conversation as far as like crypto. Polymaker, they've raised 60% of the people on there think that Bitcoin is going to go under 100,000 by year-end. Whereas I just saw an interview with Michael Saylor. He holds a prediction of Bitcoin going to 150,000 by year-end.
Both things can be true.
They can. He also said that he still sees Bitcoin going to $1 million within 4 to 8 years. Four on the best case scenario, 8 on the worst case scenario. And he also says he sees the eventual price of Bitcoin at $10 million. So, okay. You have one group of people that are pessimistic on the price of Bitcoin in the short term. I think most people are bullish on Bitcoin's price long term.
Yeah.
But there's a growing sentiment of people that are pessimistic, we said this even before, as far as if you look at the Bitcoin cycle traditionally, then this would be the end of the bull cycle. So there's a lot of people that's pessimistic on Bitcoin in the short term, but then there's still people like Tom Lee, like Michael Saylor, that are still very optimistic for the next 45 days for Bitcoin.
A lot of people only thinking about the short term. And often the place where you think the market is going to fall to is the price you should be entering. Could it get like 100,768 is a great place to buy. Could it go there? Yeah, it's at 111 now. 111,290. Should you buy at 100 or below? Yes. Will it go to 150? Yes. If we get to 250 a coin, $500,000 a coin, that would also tell you that the bond market is damn near dead forever. So it's a bunch of things that can be true at one time, but often the price where you think an asset will fall to is where you should be looking to enter. But stop worrying about the short-term horizon. It almost doesn't. It's like being like, well, Wemby's only going to score 22 points against the Miami Heat against Bam. Maybe, but the rest of the season, he's going to bust ass and have 30. You're making the wrong bet.
And now a growing number of banks are accepting Bitcoin and Ethereum as collateral for loans. So that's something that, also Michael Saylor, he talked about that in the interview that I was listening to, as far as IBIT first. And now some is actually just regular Bitcoin and regular Ethereum. They're allowing collateral, and that's beneficial for people that don't. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago on Market Mondays. As far as other options, as far as liquidating your portfolio, if you actually need money, taking a loan against your portfolio. So now some banks are actually allowing. Next year, they're going to start to hold Bitcoin as a custodian, and then some banks are actually allowing Bitcoin and Bitcoin-related products. They're going to release collateral against those. So now you'll be able to get a loan against your Bitcoin. So if you hold cryptocurrency, you won't have to sell it to have fiat money. You'll be able to still hold the asset and get a loan against it.
Yeah. Fascinating. I remember a couple of years ago when I said this bank involvement would be this high, and here we are. Be careful though, because certain institutions don't have your best interest at heart when you're using certain things as collateral. Going back to, if you don't know who's the winner in a transaction, you get the liquidity. A couple of missed payments. Let me get that wallet, my boy. And the crazy part is, with the value of homes, the Bitcoin is more valuable. Whatever's in your wallet is more valuable than the home. So they'd rather take the wallet and you keep the home.
That's a fact. But the good thing too about it is that the good thing about this is, once again, just understanding how money works. And because there's a few ways how you can take, loans against values. From a home standpoint, right? You can refinance your home, right? Where you still have full ownership of your home. You're not selling the property, but you're essentially taking a new loan against the property. You're refinancing it, right? Which you're pulling money out of it. You can do that in art. You can have art as collateral. You can take a loan against art. We talked about taking a loan against your stock portfolio last week, not a margin account, but actually taking a loan. And now they're allowing you to take loans against crypto. So it's beneficial from a few ways. You maintain ownership of an asset. So one of the best things about having an asset is the compounding interest over the course of time. And if you sell an asset, you lose a few things. You lose the appreciation potential going forward as far as the compounding interest. But you also, it's a taxable event for you. A loan is not taxed. It's not taxable. So if you have something that's worth, if you paid $1 million for something and now it's $2 million, and you sell it, now you have $1 million that you have to pay on capital gains tax. But if you take a loan against that,
for 60% of the value of 70,
right? Now you're paying interest on a loan, but you're not paying taxes.
Yeah.
So the interest over the course of time It's probably less than the taxes that you would be paying, but you still have full control over the asset, and the asset appreciates over the course of time. So that's another way that wealthy people kind of avoid paying taxes, is that, you know, if you don't need to sell something, you can just take a loan against it, but the loan is not taxed, as opposed to selling something that is taxed.
Do you think Trump will be in office in 2028?
Third term?
Yeah.
Well, he said he said the other day that he didn't think that he could run for a third term. But I don't rule out the vice president thing.
And hypothetically, if JD Vance had to go spend time with his family and he's vice president, how long would he be able to rule as president before whoever's next up would have to take over? Or a constitutional amendment?
I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
Unprecedented. It would be an unprecedented situation.
Yeah. What do you think about Chinese social media platforms requiring creators to have credentials before uploading on their platform?
It's interesting. I feel like it's good and bad, because it's good from a standpoint of you're not just having anybody just say anything. That can be harmful from a variety of different standpoints: finances, nutrition, politics. There's a lot of misinformation online. So relationships. That's so it's harmful from a standpoint of who's giving out the certification, right? Because it could be like, if I don't like what you're saying, you're not going to be certified. All right, politics, for instance, right? If you have a different political view than what I think is the correct political view, you're not going to be certified. And now you're not going to be able to have a voice on social media.
That's interesting. Well, you can have a voice on social, just not a podcast.
Well, I think, isn't it, their rule is that you can't even speak on social media. Like, they're not, like, in order to be an influencer, you have to be certified.
Oh.
Yeah. So they like
that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, they're certifying the influencer. So it's one of these things. Sounds good. When you announce it, everybody's like, yeah, that's a great idea. But then when you start to peel back the layers, you're like,
that's fascinating.
This could get a little tricky. Or even in a finance space, right? If you're somebody, let's say, that is totally, anti, because at one point in time, crypto was looked down upon. So let's say that you was a huge crypto advocate 7 years ago. Yeah. But at that time, government regulation, they didn't want to push crypto. Jamie Dimon was saying crypto was a scam. And they would say, okay, you're too crypto leaning, you're too radical, you're going to get people, your views are irresponsible.
Yeah, let's take away your voice.
So we're not gonna certify you because you don't fit what we deem would be responsible. At that time, what would be responsible? Invest money in the S&P 500, retirement plan, a lot of that stuff. But crypto probably wouldn't be seen as something that would be responsible. Yeah. So now you don't get to actually speak. Fast forward 7 years later, and it's been the best performing asset out of every asset in the last 10 years.
That's interesting. Or, given the regime and their initiative, maybe they want one unified voice. But I didn't know it was for social media. That's fascinating, though. That's fascinating. Yeah, like I said, good idea in theory, but it's just the implementation part that I think, it got to kind of be fine-tuned a little bit. Yeah.
Let's talk about this. Do men want to get married? Men don't marry the woman they love. Let's play this clip.
Men don't marry the love of their lives. That's something that women do. Men marry the woman who's there when he is ready. Let me explain. Most people think that a man should be ready by 30 or 35, 36, 40, whatever it might be. In reality, a man's readiness does not correlate to his age. A man's readiness correlates to his clarity. Let me explain. By the way, I'm Taylor Love. I help explain the man brain. If you like that kind of stuff, hit the follow button. So as you know, it's very common for a guy right around the age of 36 to feel ready to be in a long-term relationship and commit to someone long-term. But the reason for that is very misunderstood. Most people think it's because he's that age, there's a time in his brain development or something to that extent. And in reality, it's because he explored himself in his 20s. He found his purpose in his early 30s. He knows where he's going by the age of 36. and therefore he knows what type of partner he wants by his side to help him to get to where he's going. Men are logical thinkers. We are building a team when we're taking on a partner. We're thinking about our strengths and weaknesses, and do they complement, augmented by the strengths and weaknesses of our partner. Whereas women are typically thinking about, do I love him? Do I feel loved? I'm going to anticipate loving him and feeling more love in the future. Therefore, a woman at 22, 42, 32, 36, 26, whatever, will jump into a relationship and be committed because she anticipates feeling more of that love. Men are different. That means if a guy's gone through a divorce, let's say, around 32, he's probably not going to be ready by 36 because his clarity clock started from 0. So the questions to ask a man to figure out, is this a guy who's going to be ready or not, are not, how old are you? Or when do you want to have kids? Or what do you do for a living? The question to ask is, look, I know you're a builder and you really get things done. I really respect that about you. I'm curious, what are the things that you would want to have in place before you get married and have kids? This is an Alison Armstrong question. Highly recommend her work. What are the things that you would love to have in place before feeling ready to have kids and get married? And you will be surprised by how much thought every guy has put into that question, how well he can articulate the answer to him, which then gives you the opportunity to lean into your nature, which is men present, women choose. Based on his answers, you can choose if this is a man that you want to spend time getting to know more, diving into, or if this is a guy who's probably not going to be ready for the next 10 years. For more info in 90 seconds that saves you 10 years, hit the follow button.
All right. So how you feel about that?
I have a PhD. I have no credentials, Rashad. I think it's a blanket statement. I mean, I have no dog in this fight. It's so much political and financial stuff that's going on that's moving the world. I'll stay where I'm an expert at, but I hear that a lot. Like, men marry the person who's closest to them. I think sometimes it just may take a while to find the person who meets whatever criteria of who you want to marry. Or I think we activate like at 37 or 36 and just be like, whoever we meet in starlets and
do you feel your social environment dictates if you have urgency to get married or not?
I think it can for sure. Now, like if you're strong-willed and don't care about those opinions.
What I mean by that is like, all right, like if you're in an environment, if you're in politics, right?
Mm.
And a large part of it is public perception.
When you take them pictures on the beach.
Who are you married to? You got to go to a dinner. You got to, and it's like.
It matters.
It's part of you actually becoming an elected official is that it's kind of hard to do that. Not impossible, but it becomes harder if you're not married, right? So you might just say, okay, like this is something that I have to kind of make sure I gotta, because this is an important part to figure out my life, even in the corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like it's something that's like, okay, social norm, not necessarily socially acceptable to just have different girlfriends every single week. Like, you know what I mean? Like you might get looked down upon. It's not normalized. So do you think that plays a major part as far as that?
Of course. You've seen people who pop up in marriages and you can tell they really don't love each other. But I'm talking about like marriage for love, not for career benefit. But yeah, it's a lot of that pairing up or coming to an agreement for public perception.
I don't think most people marry for love, though.
Talk to me.
I think most people marry, and that's not a bad thing. Most people marry for
opportunity,
rational reasoning. Meaning, if you're a man at a certain point in time, if you're 21 years old, you just randomly just fall in love with somebody, but at a certain point in time, you start to have a rational thought process of, okay, this person is a responsible person. What's my odds of meeting somebody else like that, given, circumstances that we're currently in?
Yeah.
I already see characteristics in her that she's going to be a good mother. She can take care of the household.
Good wife.
Yeah, you do have a variety of different things. You might not be madly in love with the person.
But on paper. But on paper, they're the right person.
They check all the boxes. Same thing with women. I think women, they'll look at a guy and be like, okay, he's a provider. I think women even more so, honestly. Like they'll look at like, okay, he's a provider, he's a good dude. He don't have 7 different baby moms.
The husband they settled for?
I wouldn't even say settle for. I would say because settle seems like
it's a lot of that too, though.
I would say like you start to have a rational thought process of like, okay, this does this. Okay, we're the same religion. We agree upon this. Like, and like I said, that's not a bad thing. Because if you're married 9 times out of 10, if just because you love somebody, that doesn't mean the relationship is going to work out. Or you might not be compatible. You might not be compatible.
Then you find a compatible person. Then what you do?
So,
but y'all put in the comments if y'all going through this.
Put in chat. But yeah, me personally, I think that it's more of a. Put it like this. I think long-term relationship is based more on your brain than your heart.
For most, yeah, I can agree with that.
Rational thought process that goes into this, as opposed to I'm wildly in love with this person.
Madly in love, yeah.
I can't stop thinking about him all day, every day, or I can't stop thinking about her all day, every day. Because women will definitely make a rational decision. Because you see some of the choices that were made, and it wasn't made out of love
at all. That's what I tell folks: shoot your shot. Some of the ones you admire the most and be scared to talk to, end up with some random ass dude.
But men do the same thing, and if you want to be honest, that leads to a lot of infidelity. Because you're not really in love with the person. You're married, you got a family, but you still have a part of you that, you know what I mean. So that leads to
something else.
100%. That leads to the infidelity. If we want to be honest.
So should you wait for the love or go off of brain?
I'm always going to go off of your brain because that's the double entendre. But it's always going to be it's always going to be an intelligent decision. It's always going to be. It's always going to be an intelligent decision. Though. For me personally, but it's a mix though, because it can't just be all business decision. It can't be 100%.
It can't. That'd be hell on earth.
You gotta.
That's how you end up sitting in the driveway for 40 minutes before you go in the house.
The driveway play,
I'm at the gym forever.
I heard that story a few times.
A bunch of times.
I heard that story a few times. Like
you're on a fake Zoom. I'm engaged. Calling me, but I'm talking about investing. Yo, bro, man, I don't even want to go in the house. Why?
The driveway play. I heard that a few times, bro. Like I never forget this girl was engaged to this guy. She was telling me the whole story about how when she was like, I knew it wasn't gonna work when I'm in the driveway for 60 minutes and I don't know why I'm in the driveway. And he comes like, yo, you okay? And she's like, oh yeah. And she was like, damn. In that moment, I knew I would rather sit in my car than go home.
Yep. And it's okay to be by yourself till you find a person you want. A lot of people have not healed through whatever they're going through to love themselves enough to have the balls to wait to get to who they want. Now, can you overshoot and stay too long and now you're the old person in the club? Yes, you can. But that subtle play,
what's too long? What's too long?
It depends on your own personal.
On average, what do you think? On average,
I don't know because I know a bunch of people who were married early, and they have some interesting tales about what they think too. So I don't know. I'm not an expert in this area. I'll save my expert opinion for Black.
Because he said around 36, most men want to get, so.
But if you lit though,
that's what I'm saying. How long can you stretch it out? 50?
Maybe 50. You have to deep corners of the trenches if you wait in the 50. But maybe. So who knows? Wait till God gives you the love of your life. So we can cut it out if you want to, but would you get married again?
Marriage is something that I think definitely is important. It's important.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure, 100%. But it's when you got to think about a variety of different factors.
Yeah, you got to vet properly.
You got to think about a variety of factors and how they go about it.
And I think it's more honorable to wait, to vet, to make sure you want to be with that person, opposed to get married and then y'all moving around and doing all the foul shit lying.
Yeah. Or just have multiple wives.
And be honest about it.
That's an option.
And not lie. Yep. Keep it a buck. You're the primary. Baby, you pick the others.
Primary care.
Set it up. Index fund.
Primary caregiver.
Shit. You pick the extra. Build up the portfolio.
Oh man.
Make it a lot easier, my boy. So that way y'all vibe well, energy. You don't gotta tell me you had a fake little dream. I had a dream about you, I bet. I hear you.
Okay.
How do we think this NBA gambling scandal ends? Austin Reeves had 59 fucking points the other night.
Austin Reeves going crazy right now. It depends on how far Trump wants to take it. Let's be honest. Because I feel like a lot of this is his whole presidency is built on payback. He's getting payback from Letitia James. He's getting payback from the former FBI director. He's getting payback from the Democrats. He's getting payback for anybody that he's got payback from Meta. Pay me for what you did. He got payback from Google. Pay me. Yep. He's gonna get payback from the United States Justice Department. Pay me. Like he's on a pay me. He's on a payback tour. So I think that he didn't forget about NBA during George Floyd when they put the names on the back of the jersey, when they took the stance, when they was doing. I don't think he forgot about that.
Yeah.
And I think that this is his moment of trying to fuck him over, for lack of a better word. And I think that he's fully behind this. So how far does he want to take it? I'm not sure how far he wants to take it. I don't know.
What would you do if you were Adam Silver?
Pay him. That's you know.
Pay who?
Pay Trump. Pay the bid, man. It's the cost.
You're gonna pay the lie one way or another, right?
Mafia, it's mafia shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta, pay your offerings. Like, in order to do business, sometimes you gotta pay the bid.
You gotta pay the bid, yo. The thing I did hate, they brought out Chauncey and Rozier, but they didn't. I know they named the crime families, but I thought that was an injustice that every sports writer talked about Chauncey and didn't talk about the crime families associated with.
I mean, because that's going to get the headlines, and that's the target.
Yeah.
It's like blowing up a Venezuelan speedboat. Like you targeting fishermen who's getting, they pretty much getting their life threatened if they don't move some kilos. They're not no high level ranking drug lieutenants. Like, you know what I mean? That's why it don't even matter. Like, all right, to them, to the cartel, that's not stopping nothing. Like,
no,
it's like it seems like it's optics.
Yeah, it looks good for clips. Yeah,
it's optics, but that's literally doing nothing.
Nothing at all.
At all.
Yeah. Interesting times though.
100%.
But sports, gambling, boxing, alcohol, women, music business has always been mob territory and always will be.
100%. Let's play this clip of Dick Gregory saying that you actually need 9 hours of sleep. Let's play this clip.
The number one cause of death in America is not homicide or drugs or suicide. The number one death in America is sleep deprivation.
Lack of sleep.
Sleep deprivation.
So how much sleep does the body require?
The universal order requires that you must be in bed 90 minutes after the sun go down to get the brain recharged after 12 midnight.
How many hours of sleep do you need once you're in that bed?
You need about 9 hours now.
9 hours
Let me
every
show
day?
you what happens. Let me show you what happens.
Okay.
At the first 90 minutes, your brain gets recharged. Okay?
While you're in bed?
While you sleep, your brain gets recharged.
So when you say in 9 hours, you mean sleeping?
Sleeping.
Not just lying in the bed?
Not just lying in the bed.
Okay.
Sleeping. The brain gets recharged, and then after that, the body starts purifying and cleansing itself. When you wake up in the morning, your blood sugar, when you sleep at night, your blood sugar builds up. And you use that all day long. And they wanted to know when I wake up, you know, how high was my blood sugar? And they want to know when I go to bed at night, how low. They found out on the fast it never dips. It stays the same. When you go to sleep at night, after you get X amount of hours of sleep, a chemical is manufactured in the brain. Oh. Okay, you hear me? That's God's gift. Not to get that is the equivalent to running out of gas.
So it takes you 9 hours to get to complete.
Complete. And the reason most folks is not wealthy and out of poverty, because in sleep deprivation, you make quick decisions.
So, what happens to someone, let's say, if they only get 4 or 5 hours of sleep? Some people tell you they don't need much sleep.
Yeah, wait,
I don't believe that, though. Hey,
there's a universal order that put everything together, okay? And the universal order will not change its laws because of a human. Those laws are there.
Tell us this, because America's watching this. What's the minimum? I mean, if they cannot get 9.
There is no.
So they got to get 9 hours every night.
What's the minimum where I can rob you? If I take a penny or take $1 million, I have robbed you.
So you've got to get 9 hours of sleep every night.
That's universal law.
Okay, so Dick Gregory said
One of
that
my favorite people.
You need 9 hours of sleep because, you know, the human body, it has a special chemical that's released, and the chemical doesn't fully get released until the 9th hour of sleep. Most people have always heard you need 8 hours of sleep. But he said you need 9 hours of sleep. I was actually seeing another clip from the Telegram founder.
Yep, he's been on the road.
He tries to at least stay in bed as long as possible, like 11 hours a day, type shit, like some hibernation shit. Even if he's not sleeping, he's meditating. So you're seeing more and more people that's saying, like, because, you know, we come from the hustle mentality where it's like, you know, we don't sleep. And I remember Steve Harvey saying, like, I ain't sleeping. Like, you know, like, I'll sleep when I'm sleep when I'm dead. That's been a mentality for a long period of time.
Yeah, you die faster that way, though.
Yeah, for sure. But now they saying, like, sleep as much as you can. So what do you feel about that?
I agree 1,000%. That's part of the reason why I don't do everything that sometimes people think I should do. But my end goal is not to die for commerce. My job is to be there for my family. So my thing is the last couple of years sleep until I'm fully rested. I've given everything I'm supposed to. I've already made money for me and my family. If you don't get it, if you don't like it, so be it. Cool. I've done the other and hustle and da-da-da. But also, too, going back to how people can take money away from you. Sometimes people want you to be overworked so much that you can't think clearly for yourself and see the bullshit they're trying to line up for you. Work the shit. It happened with Elvis. Elvis could not leave Las Vegas. He had the first 360. Dealing with the mob. Elvis was hot as fish grease selling merch, and they're telling him you owe $300,000 and $600,000 in merch fees when the merch is sold out. So now that's how the residency becomes about. No, I'm asleep till I'm fully rested, and we'll meet when I get up based on my availability. I know that may not work for your corporate schedule. I don't work in corporate. Sorry. You have to take care of your health. And even like a quote that I saw, not saying no and not sleeping is causing more immune diseases and autoimmune diseases at a faster rate than we've ever seen. Also, when you go to other countries, you don't see people on the schedule that we're in America. I remember I was in fucking Mexico, Guerrero. Shouldn't have been there, but I was there. Hey, what can I get some pre-workout? What you need pre-workout for? To have energy. Well, you have energy if you just go to sleep. That's in America. That's poison. Go to sleep. Focus on 2 or 3 things a day. Call it a day. Spend time with family. Cool. In America, they want to work you to death and then take all your rights and all your money away and tax you for everything. It's not the way to go.
As somebody that's actually had insomnia, I see this to me is a multi-leveled conversation because I've actually been through situations where I couldn't sleep. Not a good feeling. So sleep is vitally important, 100%. And I personally I've never been a morning person. I'm not a morning person. Like some people.
Owl.
Yeah, some people are morning people. Like they get up at 4:30, they're in the gym at 5 o'clock. Like I I never really liked getting up early. And I never liked going to bed early. Like some people, even Gucci, when I saw it, he was like, I'm in bed at 9 o'clock. A lot of people are like that. There's a lot of people that go to bed 9 o'clock, 8:30, get up at 4. Like
I'm with the Chris Saka, Jack Dorsey, stay up to 3 and work.
Yeah, I'm a night out. Not all night, but I like to stay up. I'm a pretty late go to sleeper. And I get up. I usually get around 7 to 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
But I do respect the grind. Yeah. That's one thing I do respect the grind. Like, so I do respect the grind, and I don't respect. See, the oversleeping thing is tricky because there's a lot of people that's oversleeping that hasn't done anything in life.
That's because they're depressed. There's a lot of people who oversleep because they don't want to wake up and face reality.
That's true. That's true too. And it depends on what type of environment. Like even now, I'm in a high rise and my blinds. That's another reason why I can't really sleep well because
you got to get to the blackout joints.
Yeah, the blackout curtains, 100%.
You come here like you feel like a vampire in this.
That's why, like hotels, I only sleep good on planes and hotels. Hotels because you get the blackout curtains and that's like, and I feel like I'm sleeping well. I haven't slept good in 6 years because my outside of the insomnia, even if I don't have insomnia, as soon as the sun is up, I'm up. I have no choice because my blinds, the sun goes through the blinds.
Yeah, you gotta have them come put the joints in the studs and put the
And then I was thinking about doing that, but I'm like, you know what? I'm moving, so I don't even feel like dealing with this shit anymore. I'm just like, I'll just say screw it. But definitely when I do move, I'll have blackout curtains because that's important. But
it's a balance. If I in America have destroyed and decayed health, wouldn't I push the message to you of to work so hard where you get diabetes, cancer, all kind of illnesses, so any wealth that you created ends up eroding away?
And you got to have a peace of mind and be able to sleep well too.
That's a key point.
That's another thing. I haven't really been able to sleep in 10 years because I haven't really had peace of mind.
Why are you stressed, yo?
I'm always stressed. It's just life. Like, you know what I mean? I have high levels of anxiety.
Yeah, balance though. I used to run cross country, get on a plane, but then you see like things that really, really matter. And in business, it's really important to know what are the key drivers of revenue. Like 3 activities for me drive in 90% of my revenue. They don't know. I don't want to have a meeting. Because also too, you can grind a lot and not be efficient. Like you can be up, some of y'all be up 12, 13 hours and don't get nothing. And I'm like, in a day, what I'll get done could trump what somebody, especially with GPT and Perplexity and GPT Atlas. Oh my God, what? So be efficient in your grind, but your that's why it's called leisure time. Even like, and if you're spiritually in tune, I don't know if you do this. If you meditate and pray and get a deep sleep, God will give you all the answers in your dreams. Who's right for you, who's wrong for you, who's trying to betray you, what business you should do next, what you should be quiet about. Sleep. I was way more aggy when I get sleep. Now, cool. Whatever you say, so be it. Peace and blessings unto you. But the greatest thing I think you can do for your physical health and spiritual health is to rest and then let your creator give you the answers. Balance. Yeah. And a lot of times when people are trying to keep you busy, it's what they do with artists all the time. They want to run you ragged. Bieber's been run ragged. See, Bieber look like a zombie. Run ragged. Then now you're fighting for your master rights back. Now you got to sell your catalog because they didn't cross-collateralize your other shit and you didn't know because you're partying and you can't see. Send me my contract. Let me read over it myself. Then I'll put it into Perplexity and then go sit with the lawyer with all my little red ink notes. Some of y'all be docu-signing your life away. Rights. And anytime someone wants you to move fast in a financial transaction, it's not for your benefit.
100%. And but then also it's also your schedule too, because that's another thing. Like, you know, going to school as a kid, you gotta get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and that was always throwing me off too. Because like I said, I'm not a morning person.
You almost got like a emotional rash, right?
That's a fact. So when I went to college in Hawaii, when I was in Hawaii, I made my schedule. So my first class, I had no classes before 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's smart, bro. Fully rested. And then you felt more alive, more rejuvenated.
Yeah. And I even had some night classes. I had some night classes, but to me, it was way better. It was way better to have no classes before 12 o'clock because I got to wake up. I got to actually think things through. I got to, meditate. The weather played a big part in that also.
For sure. Because whatever you do on vacation is what your day-to-day schedule should look like anyway. But America has programmed you to do the opposite of what is best for you. Like even 8 hours versus 9 is really 13 months instead of 12. And
it's the weather, and it's the human beings were not made to live in urban environments.
It's too much noise pollution.
It's too much noise pollution. It's too busy. It's too much stress, anxiety, energy travels. So one person's stress is going to travel to you. And even like
road rage.
I was watching something that was like historically, like there's always been cities, whether it's been Mesopotamia, whether it's been Cairo, but those were more working centers. It wasn't necessarily like everybody lived there 365 days out the year. Now, like with the Industrial Revolution in Europe, and now it's like this is relatively new in human civilization, where the majority of people are living in these tight, condensed urban environments, and it's not necessarily the best way to go about it for your mental health.
And energetically, you're not supposed to be in a box all day. In most cities, especially New York, Houston, Chicago, the light pollution is too heavy for you to even sleep well. That's why if you go out the country, like even in Ghana, even though he's up late, when you went to sleep, it was a peaceful sleep. You don't have all the light pollution and noise. So,
and even the stars, like I was watching, shout out to 19 Keys and Jim Jones. They had a conversation on Jim Jones's podcast I was listening to, and they were talking about stars and actually seeing the stars. And we ain't see stars. Like I tell Troy this, we was going back and forth one day, but I haven't seen stars. You could see a star, you could see one or two stars, but I never saw stars in entirety until I went to Hawaii. Until I was 20 years old. That's the first time I actually saw stars where it looked like the land before time. I looked up in the sky and I see 100 stars.
It was mesmerized. Yep.
Like but you don't even realize that because you live in an environment where you don't see stars. If you live in the tri-state area, look up at night. You might see a star or two stars or three stars. You're not seeing stars in abundance. It's not happening. And like I said, that even things like that, you don't even know the mental effect that it has on you, because Keys brought up a good point as far as like our ancestors was always connected to astrology.
Absolutely.
The pyramids line up with the stars, right? So it's like astrology has always played a major part in our spiritual nature of just understanding, where we are in the universe. You can't even see the universe.
You can't even see the roadmap. Even cyclically, when to have children, when to plant crops, and all of it's been taken away by pollution for commerce. For us to end up having the highest debt to GDP in the history of fucking man. For what? Protect your peace. And I know some of you are going to say, hey, you got to this place, so now you can do these things. This was my mindset prior to. No. Everyone who's working you is not working you for your benefit. Sometimes, hey, you're taking too long. You got to do a lot of things based on spirit and intuition and not just on calendar schedule. A lot of people end up in a lot of bad deals going too fast and not seeing what the traps are in the deal. So, but do what you want.
Do what you want. All right. Anything else we need to cover?
And quit saying Gil snitched, because I don't think Gil snitched.
Allegedly.
I like Gil. Pause. But I don't think he would do that. So it is much bigger than that. Much bigger than that. Adam Silver needs to go sit some people down, though.
At all times.
Force some retirements real quick. And if one of the greatest of all time got suspended for his involvement, why don't the commissioners ever get suspended if they knew about it?
The commissioners work for the owners.
Why don't the owners suspend the commissioner and get a new one? Not saying in this case, but hypothetically.
Well, that's why it'll never be a fair thing between the players and the league, because the commissioner works for the owners. So as an employee for the owners, you're always going to have the owner's best interest at heart. You're always going to do what the owners say. You're always going to have to follow whatever is best for the owners.
I agree. That's a tough job, y'all.
Shedeur Sanders, will he get a chance? Because now they're saying that the Jets actually wanted to trade for him, but they said that they wanted a second round draft pick. So they're like, what third string quarterback essentially in the history of the NFL has been traded for a second round draft pick? And you just drafted him in the 5th round. So why are you trying to trade him for a second round draft pick? But you have no intentions of playing him because they said like they just moved up the another quarterback and they're going to potential. So you have really no intentions of playing Shedeur. But you're sabotaging his
career. Yeah.
You're sabotaging his trade
value.
So is this really like just collusion just to end his career before it starts?
Going back to things in sports are not fair. This happens in high school and college basketball all the time. So a bunch of players who were sidelined who were fucking great and they were in the wrong system and got into it with the wrong coach or... So I think we're just seeing it at the highest level, but on any level past junior varsity, there's a lot of corruption in the sports in America across the board. Baseball, football, basketball, hockey, lacrosse. There's a lot of politics in it. Do I think they're railroading them on purpose? For sure. The Browns has always been a self-sabotage organization, though. I don't know what the hell is going on with the Browns.
Well, then also, even at InvestFest, spoke to somebody who's highly credible source, said that it's 100%. It was 100% collusion, and it's 100% that they don't care if they win or not. These NFL teams make so much money anyway.
But it doesn't matter.
It's more important to set an example than to win.
There was a team, allegedly, a NFL-wide text that went out about him. Allegedly. Like what? Y'all can't be that mad at his dad. And like you said, but they're making so much money, it doesn't even matter about the winning part.
It doesn't even matter.
The real win is to get the revenue. That's one thing you can't say about Jerry Jones, even though he has not won. If you look at his philosophy about what he talks about on Landman, if he set up his kids and his kids' kids and his great-great-grandkids, that's the real Super Bowl. Who gives a fuck about what happens in February? That's a corporate party. If I'm highest in attendance and have the highest valuation for any team and I haven't won since Emmett then was there, who gives a fuck?
No, facts. 100%.
That's the dog and pony show. The brand equity is what really matters. So you slept, boy. You caught that demon flying by. Mm-hmm.
Shedeur, free Shedeur, man.
For real. Because he can change an organization for sure. Once in a lifetime talent. Great work ethic. But the powers that be.
When it's out of your control, it's the powers that be.
But just stay ready for your moment, because your moment may come. You may have 2 injuries back to back. Be ready at all times.
That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my brother.
To end up on the NFL blacklist, crazy.
Huh?
To end up on the NFL blacklist is crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah. So.
Whole family.
For real. Yep. I can't speak on the team, but one of the other little teams wanted them, and they got told you can't draft them or what? Scandal gonna pop out. It's a dirty game, yo. But I've always said, why aren't these leagues publicly traded? It's the reason why. You can lie and say there's more money in the private sector. It's not. It's not. If you were Warren Buffett's successor, what would you do? For the first time in history, they got downgraded. Maybe we can talk about it on Market Mondays, but
I think the downgrade is short lived.
You think so?
Yeah, I think the company will be fine. Stick to the core principles of what they've always done.
Yeah.
I don't think you try to change. I don't think you change. I don't think you start buying Bitcoin like MicroStrategy. I don't think you start, investing. People invest in Berkshire Hathaway for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Stability, an alternative to different things. I think you stay with the core principles of what has made the company what it is.
Is it important, in your opinion, from a brand perspective, to not walk in somebody else's shoes and not take over after someone?
Well,
if you know you can't over-deliver. Now, if you can over-deliver, would you have wanted to have been the starting shooting guard the year after Mike retired?
Nah, of course not. But somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it.
Shout out to Pete Myers or whoever that was. That's a tough calling, yo. Certain shoes. I feel bad for who up next after Tim Cook. Boy, you better get in perplexity and build your team you're playing right now. Certain shoes you can't feel. It's tough. It is tough. But what do I know? Go get your 9 hours, 8 hours.
Please.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
And make sure that wife rested, so when she go pick them 2 others too, she picked the right ones for you. Soft life, babe. Mm-hmm.
Soft life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, man.
Is it an irritant if the person you date is lazy, or do they need to be an early riser like you?
I'm not an early riser. I'm relative. I mean, what do you consider early? I'm up at 7 o'clock every day. Is that early?
For some, it would be.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess to me, an early riser is like 5,
5. Yeah.
I'm a 7 o'clock type dude.
Yeah.
7:30, like 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Like now I get the shit going. Like, because so I'm like a 7, 8 o'clock type wake up person.
But if she waking up at 12:45.
You can wake up anytime you want, because me personally, I'm once I'm up,
I'm going. Yep.
Yeah, I'm doing me. So it's like, I'm out, I'm off and
getting to it.
Yeah. So I can't really, to me, that's not that big of a deal unless it's something to be done. But
yeah,
I'm hey, as long as you can just, clean up and vacuum a little bit, that'll be helpful.
For sure.
Leave the place better than which
you found it. It don't take much. Don't take much.
That's a major key. If you leave,
just make up the bed a little bit.
Leave the place better when you leave than when you found it.
Thank you.
That's it. Little things. It's a little things in life. Like you said, make the bed, wash, some dishes in there. Just wash the dishes. Just little things.
Yeah,
goes a long way.
That and peace. Ooh, go a long way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If somebody's not making a bet, that's crazy.
That's trifling, yo.
That's wild.
And they don't care.
That's wild.
Once
Somebody
a week.
just wake up and somebody just wake up, you come back and the sheets is the same
shovel.
weight. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's actually crazy.
Mm-hmm. Prayers to y'all who are going through troubling times in your relationship. Holidays are around the corner. Go ahead and find your exit plan.
Leave now.
Mm-hmm. Y'all, a lot of y'all, how do you know somebody like you? If you still going through this at 38, 39, my boy. Mm-hmm.
Leave now. Leave now. Avoid the awkward family meetings if you don't have to. Avoid the financial burden of having try to spend money that you don't have on a gift and you're going to break up anyway. If you think you're going to break up with somebody, do it now. Do it before Thanksgiving.
Facts. Do it before Halloween.
Yeah.
You can say your little Costco run and go get the little treats. You know what I mean? and just enjoy being by yourself and working on you. That's the key. If you're not willing to work on you, who you want not going to come to you anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Break up now. Do it now.
For real. Prime season.
Unsolicited advice.
Do it as you want.
That's a fact.
But shout out to Nvidia. Shout out to everybody who held Nvidia. 7,000% since 2017. What more can I say?
What more can I say, ladies and gentlemen? All right, y'all. It's been real. We'll tap in with you later on. Salute. See you guys tomorrow. See you guys tomorrow.
Maybe. No, we'll be there. Peace.